Listen carefully. There will come a day when the crowd walks in one direction and your purpose calls you in another. On that day, you will discover who you really are. Anyone can follow the majority. Anyone can believe what everyone else believes. Anyone can chase the dreams that society has already approved. There is nothing difficult about moving with the crowd. The difficult part is walking toward a destination that only you can see. Greatness has never belonged to those who waited for permission. It belongs to those who had the courage to begin before the applause, before the recognition, and before the world understood what they were trying to build. If you spend your entire life waiting for everyone to agree with your vision, you will spend your entire life standing still. History has always rewarded the people who were willing to be misunderstood. Every inventor who challenged tradition, every entrepreneur who started with nothing, every athlete who trained while everyone else was sleeping, every artist whose work was ignored before it was admired. At some point, they all experienced the same feeling. They stood alone, not because they hated people, not because they wanted isolation, but because their purpose demanded a level of courage that the crowd could not yet understand. Understand this clearly. Standing alone does not mean rejecting relationships. Thinking alone does not mean refusing to learn from others. Conquering alone does not mean succeeding without help. It means taking responsibility for your own life. It means refusing to let public opinion become your compass. It means making decisions based on principles instead of popularity. The crowd is comfortable. The crowd offers approval. The crowd tells you to lower your standards so everyone feels equal. But greatness asks something entirely different. It asks you to wake up before sunrise when nobody is watching. It asks you to continue after your first failure. It asks you to remain disciplined after your excitement disappears. It asks you to keep believing when your own family doubts your dream. Most people never reach extraordinary heights because they fear one thing more than failure. They fear standing alone. They fear being criticized. They fear looking different. They fear being misunderstood. So they choose comfort over purpose, acceptance over excellence, popularity over character. And years later, they wonder why their lives never became extraordinary. Listen carefully. There are seasons in life when no one will clap for you. No one will encourage you. No one will notice your sacrifices. No one will understand your vision. Those seasons are not punishment. They are preparation. Because if your motivation depends on applause, your discipline will disappear the moment the audience leaves. Real strength is built in private. Real confidence is developed in silence. Real greatness begins long before anyone recognizes your name. The world celebrates the victory. Very few people witness the lonely journey that created it. If you want an ordinary life, follow ordinary habits. If you want an extraordinary life, prepare yourself for extraordinary discipline. Sometimes that discipline requires you to stand alone. Sometimes it requires you to think alone. Sometimes it requires you to fight battles that nobody else can fight for you, because there are mountains that only your own feet can climb. There are fears that only your own courage can defeat. There are dreams that only your own commitment can bring to life. Today, we begin that journey, not toward loneliness, but toward independence, not toward isolation, but toward unshakable character, because greatness begins the moment you stop asking the world for permission to become who you were created to be. 1. Stand alone. One of the greatest tests of character is learning how to stand when everyone else chooses to sit. The easiest decision in life is to follow the crowd. The hardest decision is to remain true to your values when doing so costs you comfort, popularity, or approval. Most people don't make decisions based on what is right. They make decisions based on what is accepted. If everyone is doing it, they assume it must be correct. If everyone believes it, they rarely question it. That is how average thinking spreads. But greatness has never been created by average thinking. Every meaningful change in history began with one person who refused to accept things as they were. Imagine planting a tree. During the first few years, very little happens above the ground. People walk past it without noticing. Some even assume nothing is growing. Yet beneath the surface, the roots are spreading deeper every single day. Your character develops the same way. When you choose integrity over shortcuts, when you refuse to compromise your principles, when you keep your promises, even when nobody would know if you broke them, you are growing roots. The world may not applaud your decisions. It may even criticize them. But deep roots create strong trees. Strong trees survive powerful storms. Weak trees fall with the first strong wind. Many people lose themselves because they desperately want to belong. They change their personality to fit different groups. They hide their beliefs to avoid criticism. They remain silent when they should speak. They speak when they should remain silent. Eventually, they become strangers to themselves. Never trade your identity for acceptance. The crowd changes constantly. Opinions change, trends change, popularity changes. But character remains. The person who stands firmly on principles sleeps peacefully because they are not constantly pretending to be someone else. There will be moments when doing the right thing feels lonely. You may lose friends, you may lose opportunities, you may even lose people you deeply care about, but never lose yourself. Because once you lose your integrity, every success you achieve becomes empty. Standing alone does not mean standing against everyone. It means standing for something greater than yourself. Stand for honesty, stand for discipline, stand for respect, stand for truth, stand for courage. Even if you are the only person in the room who believes in those values, remember this. The crowd may laugh today. Tomorrow they may admire the very courage they once criticized. History is filled with people who were mocked before they were respected. Do not measure your direction by the number of people walking beside you. Measure it by the principles guiding your steps. Because sometimes the road to greatness is narrow, sometimes it is quiet, sometimes it feels lonely. But if you continue walking with integrity, one day you will look back and realize that standing alone was never a sign of weakness. It was the first step toward becoming someone the world could not ignore. 2. Think alone. Your life will never rise above the quality of your thinking. Every decision you make, every habit you build, every relationship you choose, and every goal you pursue begins with a single thought. Before success becomes visible, it first becomes believable in the mind. Before failure becomes reality, it often begins as a thought accepted without question. That is why one of the greatest powers you can ever develop is the ability to think for yourself. The world is full of opinions. Every day, people will tell you what is impossible. They will tell you what career to choose, how to live, who to become, what success should look like. Some advice will be valuable, some will be dangerous. If you blindly accept every opinion you hear, you will eventually wake up living someone else's life instead of your own. Never allow the noise of the crowd to become louder than the voice of your purpose. Independent thinking does not mean believing you know everything. It means asking questions. It means learning continuously. It means refusing to accept an idea simply because it is popular. The greatest thinkers in history were not rebels for the sake of rebellion. They were seekers of truth. They challenged assumptions. They tested ideas. They looked beyond appearances. While others accepted limits, they searched for possibilities. That is why they changed the world. Most people see what everyone else sees. Very few people see what everyone else overlooks. That difference creates extraordinary results. Imagine an eagle flying high above the mountains. From that height, it sees the entire landscape. It notices opportunities invisible to those walking on the ground. Your thinking works the same way. When your mind rises above fear, distractions, and public opinion, you begin to see opportunities that others completely miss. Do not let your emotions become the captain of your mind. Feelings are real, but they are not always reliable. You may feel afraid before the greatest opportunity of your life. You may feel discouraged just before your breakthrough. You may feel alone while standing exactly where you need to be. If you allow every emotion to control every decision, your future will become unpredictable. Instead, let wisdom guide emotion. Train yourself to pause before reacting, think before speaking, reflect before deciding, question before believing. The strongest minds are not the fastest to react. They are the most disciplined. There is another trap you must avoid. Comparison. Nothing destroys original thinking faster than constantly measuring your life against someone else's. Today, people compare careers, income, homes, relationships, followers, appearances, success. And while they spend their lives watching everyone else, they neglect the work required to improve themselves. Comparison steals clarity. It replaces purpose with competition. Instead of asking, "Who am I becoming?" people begin asking, "How do I look compared to everyone else?" That question leads nowhere. Your race is different. Your timeline is different. Your calling is different. Stop trying to fit your future into someone else's schedule. The strongest leaders are not copies. They are originals. An original mind is developed through reading, learning, observing, and thinking deeply. Read books that challenge your beliefs. Listen to people with different experiences. Study history. Study failure. Study success. Study yourself. The more knowledge you gain, the more wisely you can think. But remember this, knowledge alone is not enough. Many people know what they should do. Few actually do it. Wisdom is applied knowledge. It is taking truth and turning it into action. Your thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your destiny. Everything begins in the mind. Guard it carefully. Protect it from negativity. Protect it from constant distraction. Protect it from voices that profit from your doubt. Spend time alone, not because you are escaping people, but because silence allows you to hear your own thoughts clearly. Some of life's greatest decisions are not made in noisy rooms. They are made during quiet mornings, long walks, late nights, moments of reflection. That is where vision is born. That is where courage grows. That is where purpose becomes clear. Do not fear thinking differently. Every breakthrough begins as an unpopular idea. Every innovation begins with someone asking, "What if there is another way?" The future belongs to people who refuse to let average thinking define extraordinary possibilities. So, think deeply, think independently, think honestly, and most importantly, think with purpose. Because the person who learns to master their own mind will never become a prisoner of someone else's opinions. Your greatest weapon is not your talent, it is the way you think. And when your thinking changes, your decisions change, your actions change, your future changes. That is the power of thinking alone. 3. Train alone. Greatness is never built on the stage. It is built behind closed doors. The world celebrates champions on the day they lift the trophy, but very few people witness the thousands of hours they spent preparing for that single moment. People admire the masterpiece, but rarely appreciate the years of practice, failure, discipline, and sacrifice that created it. That is why you must learn to train alone, because when nobody is watching, that is when your true character is revealed. Anyone can work hard when there is an audience. Anyone can stay disciplined when praise is guaranteed. Anyone can perform when cameras are recording. But what about the mornings when the alarm rings and no one knows whether you get out of bed? What about the evenings when you are exhausted, yet your goals still require another hour of work? What about the days when progress is invisible, results are delayed, and quitting seems easier than continuing? Those are the moments that separate ordinary people from extraordinary ones. Discipline is doing what must be done, even when your emotions tell you not to. Motivation is powerful, but it is temporary. Some mornings you will feel unstoppable. Other mornings you will feel like giving up before you even begin. If your success depends only on motivation, your consistency will disappear the moment life becomes difficult. That is why discipline is greater than motivation. Discipline shows up on the days motivation stays home. Imagine a blacksmith forging a sword. He places cold steel into the hottest fire, then he strikes it again, and again, and again. To someone watching from the outside, it looks repetitive, it looks painful, it looks exhausting. But with every strike, the steel becomes stronger. The heat does not destroy it, it shapes it. Your daily habits work the same way. Every workout you complete, every page you read, every skill you practice, every distraction you resist, every promise you keep to yourself. These small actions may seem insignificant today, but together they are forging the person you are becoming. Never underestimate the power of ordinary days. Most people wait for extraordinary opportunities. Successful people create extraordinary habits. A single workout will not transform your body. One book will not make you wise. One business idea will not build an empire. One day of discipline will not change your life. But repeat those actions consistently for years, and the results become impossible to ignore. That is how greatness is built. Not in one dramatic moment, but in thousands of quiet decisions that nobody applauds. There will be seasons when your hard work produces no visible reward. You will question yourself. You will wonder if the effort is worth it. You will look around and see people taking shortcuts while you continue climbing the difficult path. Do not envy them. Quick success often creates weak foundations. Strong foundations require patience. A tree that grows too quickly often develops shallow roots. The first storm can destroy it, but the tree that grows slowly sends its roots deep into the earth. When powerful winds arrive, it remains standing. Become that tree. Build yourself so deeply that temporary setbacks cannot shake you. Train your body. Strength is not only physical, it teaches endurance. It teaches commitment. It teaches you to continue when everything inside you wants to stop. Train your mind. Read books that challenge your thinking. Learn skills that increase your value. Study people who have accomplished what you hope to achieve. Never stop being a student. The day you believe you have nothing left to learn is the day your growth begins to die. Train your character. It is easy to be honest when honesty costs nothing. It is easy to be humble when life is comfortable. Real character is revealed under pressure. When no one is watching, tell the truth. When no one can hold you accountable, keep your word. When no one expects excellence from you, give it anyway. Because character is not built by public recognition, it is built by private decisions. There is another lesson you must never forget. Stop seeking instant results. We live in a world that wants everything immediately. Immediate success, immediate wealth, immediate recognition, immediate happiness. But nature teaches a different lesson. Seeds grow slowly. Mountains are formed over centuries. Diamonds are created under pressure. The strongest things in life take time. Do not quit simply because progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress. Every day you remain faithful to your purpose. You move one step closer to the person you were created to become. Remember this, son. The champion you admire did not become exceptional because of one perfect performance. They became exceptional because they refused to stop practicing after everyone else had gone home. While others were sleeping, they were training. While others were making excuses, they were improving. While others were chasing comfort, they were building character. One day, people will call them gifted. They will say, "You're so lucky." They will admire the success without understanding the sacrifice behind it. Smile when that day comes. because you will know the truth. Luck did not build your future. Your discipline did. So, embrace the lonely mornings. Welcome the difficult days. Respect the process. Fall in love with the work that nobody sees. Because the habits you build in private will one day become the success the world applauds in public. Train alone. Grow in silence. Master your craft. And when your moment finally arrives, your confidence will not come from hope. It will come from preparation. Because preparation turns fear into faith, pressure into purpose, and ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. 4. Suffer alone. No one escapes pain. It does not matter how rich you become, how talented you are, or how many people admire you. Every life will eventually encounter disappointment, failure, loss, rejection, and hardship. Pain is not selective. It visits every human being. The difference is not who suffers. The difference is how they respond to suffering. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They choose easy paths, easy conversations, easy decisions, easy habits. But comfort has a hidden cost. It rarely produces growth. Think about how a diamond is formed. It begins as ordinary carbon buried deep beneath the earth. For years, it is subjected to immense pressure and intense heat. Those conditions would seem unbearable, yet without them, the diamond would never exist. Your character is formed in much the same way. Pressure does not always break you. Sometimes it reveals who you are becoming. There will be seasons when it feels as though no one understands what you are carrying. Friends may disappear. People who once encouraged you may become silent. Those you expected to stand beside you may walk away. Do not let those moments convince you that you are abandoned. Some battles are deeply personal. No one can fight them on your behalf. No one can overcome your fears for you. No one can heal your wounds for you. Others may support you. They may encourage you. They may pray for you. But eventually, you must choose whether you will rise or remain where pain has left you. That decision belongs to you alone. There is a dangerous habit that keeps many people trapped. They wait for someone else to rescue them. They wait for perfect circumstances. They wait for motivation. They wait for permission. They wait until life feels fair. While they wait, time keeps moving. The strongest people understand a different truth. No one is coming to live your life for you. If you want healing, you must begin the process. If you want change, you must take the first step. If you want a better future, you must stop making your past the author of your next chapter. Your scars are not signs that you are weak. They are evidence that you survived. Every scar tells a story of loss, a story of endurance, a story of getting back up after life knocked you down. Never be ashamed of those scars. Wear them with humility. Not because pain is something to celebrate, but because overcoming it is something to respect. There will be nights when your doubts seem louder than your dreams. You will question your ability. You will wonder whether all the effort is worth it. In those moments, remember this: your feelings are temporary. Your purpose is greater. Storms never ask for permission before they arrive, but they also never stay forever. No matter how dark the sky becomes, morning always returns. The same is true for your life. This season will not last forever. One day, the struggle that almost broke you will become the story that inspires someone else to keep going. That is one of the greatest gifts hidden inside suffering. It develops compassion. A person who has never struggled may understand success, but a person who has suffered often understands people. They know what it feels like to be afraid, to fail, to lose, to start again. And because they know that pain, they become capable of lifting others when their own strength has returned. Do not waste your suffering. Learn from it. Let it teach you patience. Let it teach you gratitude. Let it teach you resilience. Most importantly, let it teach you that your identity is not defined by your worst day. A single failure does not make you a failure. A single rejection does not make you unworthy. A single mistake does not determine your future. Life is bigger than one chapter. Keep writing. There will be people who only notice you after you succeed. They will never see the tears, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the silent battles. And that is okay. Not everyone needs to understand your journey. Your responsibility is not to convince the world of your struggle. Your responsibility is to continue walking through it with courage. Sometimes the greatest victories happen in complete silence. The day you forgive someone who never apologized. The day you choose discipline instead of excuses. The day you stop blaming your circumstances and start taking responsibility for your future. The day you refuse to quit. Those victories may never appear in the headlines, but they are the victories that transform ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. So if life becomes difficult, stand anyway. If your heart is heavy, move anyway. If your progress feels slow, continue anyway, because strength is not measured by how little you suffer. Strength is measured by how faithfully you keep moving while carrying the weight. One day you will look back on the season that nearly defeated you, and you will realize something remarkable. The pain you once begged to escape became the very fire that forged your character. It taught you patience. It strengthened your resolve. It deepened your faith. It prepared you for responsibilities you could not have carried before. So do not fear the difficult road. Walk it with courage. Carry your burden with dignity. And trust that every step through adversity is shaping you into someone capable of achieving things that comfort never could. Because greatness is not born in easy times. Greatness is forged in the quiet moments when no one else can carry your burden, yet you choose to keep moving forward. 5. Believe alone. Every great achievement begins as an invisible idea. Before the building stands tall, it exists only as a blueprint. Before the tree reaches the sky, it begins as a tiny seed hidden beneath the soil. Before the world celebrates a champion, there is an ordinary person carrying an extraordinary vision. That is why you must learn to believe before you can see. Most people believe only after the evidence appears. They believe after the promotion, after the business succeeds, after the audience applauds, after the dream becomes reality. But greatness belongs to those who believe while the road is still uncertain. There will be seasons when your vision makes sense only to you. People will question your decisions. They will ask why you are working so hard, why you are sacrificing so much, why you continue chasing something that has not yet produced results. Do not become discouraged. People can only understand what they are prepared to see. Someone who has never climbed a mountain may not understand why you keep walking uphill. Someone who has accepted an average life may never understand your hunger for excellence. Do not expect everyone to understand your purpose. It is not their assignment, it is yours. There is a dangerous habit that destroys more dreams than failure ever could: seeking constant approval. Many people never begin because they need everyone to agree with them first. They ask 10 different people for permission to pursue one dream. By the time they finish listening to every opinion, they no longer remember their own. Listen to wise counsel. Learn from those with experience. Accept correction when necessary, but never surrender your purpose simply because someone else cannot imagine what you can. Remember this: the people who doubt you today are judging your present. You are building your future. The two are not the same. When a sculptor looks at a block of stone, most people see nothing more than a large rock. The sculptor sees the masterpiece hidden inside. Day after day he removes what does not belong, strike after strike, piece by piece, until everyone else finally sees what he saw from the very beginning. Your life is no different. You are becoming someone the world cannot yet recognize. Do not lose faith simply because the masterpiece is still taking shape. Progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. There will be mornings when you question yourself. You will wonder if you are good enough. You will compare yourself to people who appear further ahead. You will feel tempted to lower your dreams to match other people's expectations. Resist that temptation. Comparison is the thief of conviction. Every person has a different calling, a different pace, a different purpose. Stop measuring your journey against someone else's timeline. Your season will come. Believe in your preparation. Believe in your discipline. Believe in the lessons your failures have taught you. Most importantly, believe that your current circumstances do not have the final word. Never confuse where you are with where you are going. Today may be difficult, tomorrow may still be uncertain, but neither today nor tomorrow has the authority to define your entire future. There is another truth you must remember. Confidence is not pretending you have no fear. Confidence is moving forward despite your fear. The brave are not fearless. They simply refuse to let fear become their leader. Every courageous decision begins with uncertainty. You may not know exactly how everything will work. You may not have every answer. You may not have every resource. But you have something more valuable. You have the willingness to begin. And beginning changes everything. Because action creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence strengthens belief. And belief fuels perseverance. Never speak against your own future. The words you repeat become the beliefs you strengthen. If you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, your actions will eventually agree. If you repeatedly convince yourself that failure is inevitable, you will stop trying long before success has the chance to arrive. Guard your thoughts. Guard your words. Feed your mind with truth instead of doubt. Remind yourself daily that every expert was once a beginner. Every leader was once unknown. Every champion was once overlooked. Every success story once looked impossible. Why should your story be any different? Believe in the work you are doing today, even if no one applauds it. Believe in the habits you are building. Believe in the sacrifices you are making. Believe in the future you cannot yet touch. Because faith is not believing that the journey will be easy. Faith is believing that the journey is worth taking. One day, people will say your success happened overnight. They will never see the years you spent believing when there was no evidence. The lonely mornings, the late nights, the repeated failures, the quiet victories. Only you will know what it truly cost. And when that day comes, remain humble. Remember where you started. Remember the seasons when you were the only person who believed, because those were the moments that built your unshakable foundation. So, believe when the path is unclear. Believe when the results are delayed. Believe when the crowd says your dream is impossible. Believe when your progress feels invisible. Because the greatest victories are first won in the mind and the heart, long before they are ever seen by the world. Stand firm. Keep building. Keep believing. One day, the vision that only you could see will become the reality that everyone else cannot ignore. 6. Conquer alone. The day will come when all the preparation, all the discipline, all the sacrifice, and all the lonely mornings begin to make sense. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you become stronger. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop asking for permission. You stop depending on applause. You stop allowing fear to decide your future. That is the moment your conquest begins. Many people think victory is standing on a stage holding a trophy. Others believe victory is becoming wealthy, famous, or powerful. Those things may be accomplishments, but they are not the greatest victory. The greatest victory is becoming someone who cannot be defeated by comfort, distracted by criticism, or broken by temporary failure. That is true conquest. Long before you conquer a business, you must conquer your excuses. Long before you lead a team, you must learn to lead yourself. Long before you earn the respect of the world, you must become worthy of your own respect. Everything begins within. Do not chase success. Become the kind of person success is naturally drawn to. Develop discipline. Build integrity. Protect your reputation. Honor your commitments. Stay humble when you win. Stay resilient when you lose. Because success without character is temporary, character creates success that lasts. There will always be people who appear to move faster than you. Do not let their speed become your distraction. Some people are running someone else's race. You are running your own. Keep your eyes on your path. Comparison has ended more dreams than failure ever will. Focus on your progress. Celebrate your growth. Respect your journey. The finish line belongs to those who refuse to stop. As you grow stronger, something interesting will happen. The opinions that once controlled you will begin to lose their power. The rejection that once hurt you will become motivation. The obstacles that once frightened you will become opportunities to prove your resilience. You will realize that your greatest limitation was never your circumstances. It was your belief about what was possible. Now your thinking is different. Your habits are different. Your standards are different. And because you have changed, your future begins to change with you. Remember, conquering alone does not mean refusing help from others. No one achieves anything meaningful without learning from teachers, being encouraged by loved ones, or working alongside good people. Be grateful for those who support you. Honor those who challenge you. Learn from those who have walked the road before you. Lift others whenever you have the strength to do so. But never expect someone else to carry the responsibility that belongs to you. Your dreams are your responsibility. Your choices are your responsibility. Your discipline is your responsibility. Your future is your responsibility. Own it. The world owes you nothing, but it offers endless opportunities to the person who is willing to prepare. Every sunrise is another chance to improve, another chance to grow, another chance to become wiser than you were yesterday. Do not waste it. One day, years from now, someone may ask you the secret behind your success. They may expect you to describe one lucky opportunity, one powerful connection, one life-changing moment. Smile, because you will know the truth. There was no secret. There were only thousands of ordinary days lived with extraordinary commitment. Days when you stood alone because your principles mattered more than popularity. Days when you thought for yourself while others blindly followed the crowd. Days when you trained in silence while everyone else searched for shortcuts. Days when you suffered without surrendering. Days when you believed before the evidence appeared. Days when you mastered yourself instead of making excuses. Those days became your greatness. Never forget where you started. Never allow success to make you arrogant. The higher you climb, the more humility you need. Stay grateful. Stay disciplined. Stay hungry to learn. Stay faithful to your values. Because greatness is not a destination you reach once. It is a standard you choose every day. Every sunrise asks the same question: will you become stronger, or will you settle for less? The answer is found in your choices, not once, but every single day. So stand when others surrender, think when others imitate, train when others sleep, endure when others quit, believe when others doubt. Master yourself before trying to master the world. Then walk forward with courage. Not because the road is easy, but because you have become the kind of person who refuses to turn back. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. That is how leaders are born. That is how legacies are built. That is the path to greatness. If you remember only one lesson from this message, let it be this: the path to greatness is rarely crowded. There will be seasons when no one understands your vision. There will be moments when your progress is invisible. There will be days when quitting seems easier than continuing. Keep going. Stand alone when your values are tested. Think alone when the crowd chooses comfort over truth. Train alone when no one is watching. Suffer without allowing pain to define you. Believe when the evidence has not yet appeared. Master yourself before trying to master the world. And when success finally arrives, wear it with humility. Remember, greatness is not measured by how loudly the world applauds you. It is measured by who you become while no one is watching. One disciplined decision, one honest choice, one courageous step, repeated day after day. That is how character is built. That is how dreams become reality. That is how ordinary lives become extraordinary legacies. So, the next time life asks you to walk a lonely road, do not be afraid. Some journeys must be walked with your own feet. Some battles must be fought with your own courage. Some victories must be earned through your own discipline, not because you are meant to live alone, but because becoming strong enough to stand on your own is what prepares you to lead, serve, and inspire others. So, when the world doubts you, stand. When the world distracts you, think. When the world tells you to quit, train. When the world tries to break you, endure. And when the time comes to claim the life you have worked for, step forward with confidence. Because you did not wait for permission, you did not depend on applause, you became the person capable of achieving greatness. Stand alone, think alone, conquer alone, not to escape the world, but to become strong enough to change it.